everybody. How are you doing? It's Dr. Cindy Stark coming in here for my Tuesdays at 2. Now I'm at a new time, 2 o'clock, not 10 o'clock. Still with the alliteration, just Tuesdays at 2, not Tuesdays at 10. And I'm here today from Athens. I'm here visiting my daughter. She's in a concert tonight. And it's interesting. They haven't had one since April, and now they're having two 7 days apart from each other. They're having one today, and then one next Thursday and Friday, December 1 and 2. So I'm here, and it just started making me think about how, excuse me, it is really interesting when you go back to the roots of where you came from. And I spent only 4 years of my life here in Athens, Georgia, when I was in undergraduate here. But the the roots that I kind of see myself as forming while I was here in this place, in this city, in this university, really propelled me forward in my life and kind of set the background for all kinds of things really wonderful that ended up happening in my life. And I kind of wanted to share that with you and kind of like what it's made me really become aware of, and then other ways that we can kind of get to our roots. So if you're coming in here live, if you can please just type in hashtag live and let me know that you're here so I know who's on with me. And then if you're coming in on the replay, if you could type in hashtag replay so I know who comes in afterwards. And as always, the biggest compliment I can ever get is that if something I'm saying resonates with you, then it usually means it'll also resonate with some of your friends. And so I will make this shareable so that you can share it with other people. So I don't know how many of you guys are kind of doing the exact same thing as your parents and your siblings do in your life. In their lives, so I don't know if anyone kind of comes in here and tells me if you're kind of doing exactly what your mom and dad did, or your brother and your sister. In my family, my mom was a hairdresser and my sister was a hairdresser. My dad was an electrician and my brother was an electrician. And then along came me, and I did things completely different. I went off to college, right, when I was 17. And then at 21, I went off to medical school. And no one really could really understand 100% what I was doing. I started getting really weird looks at my family reunions. People would even say, now that you are in college, or especially when I was in medical school and graduate school, they would say, we don't have anything in common with you anymore. And I don't know, to me, just really hurtful things. There was this one guy, and I'll never forget this, in my sister's Sunday school class, that almost he wasn't making fun of me for going to school, but he was just kind of making fun of the difference of her being a hairdresser and me being a doctor. And I'm like, dude, just let everybody do whatever they want to do. Hey, Melissa, it's good to see you. I hope you're feeling better today. And Kathy, awesome. And so, I just kind of learned from a really early age that I'm not really doing things exactly as my mom and dad do it, and my sister and my brother are doing exactly the same vocations as my father and my mother. And then there was me. And not that this is either here nor there, but my sister and my mom both have the middle name Ann, and then my brother and my dad both have the middle name Wayne, and then my middle name is Marie. So I don't know, I just kind of felt like from a really early age that things weren't exactly with me how it was with my older siblings. And so when I came here today out to the University of Georgia, I actually went and met with one of my old professors. It has been 31 years since I've seen him. And he was the one that, for the first time in my life, I put my name on a research paper. And, because I had gotten my name on some research papers, I actually was able to kind of look a certain way and present my knowledge in a certain type of a package that ended up getting me a full ride scholarship to medical school and graduate school. And so from the beginning, when I was growing up, I always had a way of kind of really nurturing the relationships that I had, and then something from each relationship ended up propelling me forward and forward and forward. And and uh, and I've noticed now, and it's kind of what I want to talk to you about today, is to really leverage the momentum that you have in your life. You have to get back to the roots of what you grew up with. But And what I mean by that is just really, until I was able to really harness the immense power of my subconscious mind, I was just kind of going on autopilot and on to-do lists and goals, and I was like, well, everybody around me is getting married, let me get married. Well, everybody around me is having kids, let me have kids. Well, everybody's around me trying to get this full-time job, let me get a full-time job. Well, everybody's around me trying to be, Susie Homemaker, let me do that. And I was running myself ragged, but I was doing the only thing that I knew how to do because I was mirroring my life based on other people around me. Whereas the older I got, and especially when I went through this incredible life changing 12-week program back in 2021, where I cleared out all the societal and parental and educational and religious programming and got rid of all that stuff, all the should, I was like shoulding all over myself. I should do this, I should do that. And I was getting sick like probably every 6 months. I'll never forget when I was first a doctor and I had these toddlers, my first full-time doctor job, and I had these toddlers. I was getting so sick all the time because I really was. Oh, that sun is not doing good. Let me move my thing. I would get sick all the time because what I was doing was I was being around sick people all the time, and then I was just I had my immune system was getting worn down. I was under a lot of stress in my marriage, and just the way I was being a mom and a doctor. I was just trying to be on all these committees because that's what everybody else did, and I was going out to all these different hospitals and building new practices in all these small parts of Northeast Georgia mountains, and I wasn't even paying attention to what was important to me because all I was doing was paying attention to what everybody else around me was doing and kind of what I felt like was expected of me. And so once I cleared out the really how I see it as a gunk in the filter, and what it's called is your reticular activating system. And until I was able to do that, I was just trying my best to go to psychologists to help me figure out why I wasn't fulfilled in life. I was trying to read all these self-help books. There was a time I was on different anti-anxiety medicines because I thought I just had an anxiety disorder, and that was what was causing all my dissatisfaction in life. But once I realized how much of my life was going on autopilot based on all the programming that I had been subjected to in my life, and I actually ended up um, living my life the way that I wanted to live it, everything in my life changed. And, I was able to leave a very unfulfilling relationship that I was in. I was able to contract for my own safety instead of asking. Here's a little tiny yellow jacket all around me. My daughter's in there studying for a big research psychology class, so I'm trying to be out here in her apartment porch to be quiet. But anyway, once I was able to really realize that even the way that I was working, okay, as a full-time doctor, I did that for 15 years, from 2007 to almost 15 years later to in 2022. Even that was not congruent with what was important to me in my own heart and my own soul. And like there's so much I think as women particularly, but men and men as well, but in the second halves of our lives where we realize we are doing what society expects us to do. We might be doing what our spouse expects us to do. We might be kind of living the American dream, have a mortgage, and and go on one vacation a year and just go to work all the time, and I'm like, forget all of that. And I just really once I was able to see everything for what it was, I was able to actually find peace and satisfaction not at a psychologist's office, not in a bottle of psychotropic medications like Wellbutrin or Lexapro, not in reading books all the time, but just in my own heart. And I'm able now for the first time to set boundaries on myself where I say, after, let's just say 2 fun things a week, then I need to kind of retreat and be at home where it's peaceful and quiet. I'm able to say when I need variety, what I need variety in, and I'm able to get that. I go on one vacation a month, and I actually couple it with a solo vacation up in the North Georgia mountains, where I get to go and be in the most beautiful section of the world, in my opinion, the North Georgia mountains. And I get to go on a vacation once a month, and I don't care what anybody says about that. And I'm able to get variety in healthy ways that nurture me and fill me up, instead of destructive ways, which is what I've done in the past. And so if you're kind of at this phase in your life where you are, like for me, my kids both, they left the house, and I'm an empty nester now, and they went off to college. Where whether you're an empty nester right now, or whether you've had a full-time job and you want to go into semi-retirement, or whether you have a book that you want to write. I actually 2 days ago wrote the outline of my next book. From Millimeters to Miles, and it's all about my journey into through regular psychotherapy sessions, and then also this reticular activating system clearing out program that I did in 2021, that has now completely changed the way that I see that I am able to help people get healthy in life. It all starts with your mindset, and you can't just have your mindset saying, these are the 4 things I need to do today. These are the 5 goals that I have this week. You won't even start to work on your to-do list, or on your goals, or all these different lists that you have. They're all run by your frontal lobe. That's only 4% of your brain. You won't even be able to do anything that you are able to put down on a list or dream up that you want to do, have as a dream, if all you're doing is working with your frontal lobe. You have to, thank you, Kathy, I love it too. I did say from centimeters to miles, and I'm like, no, let's use alliteration, so it's from millimeters to miles. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that book in just a second. But when you're able to harness the other 96% of your brain, which is the power of the subconscious mind, and have your frontal lobe and your conscious and your unconscious mind working together, so that everything is in ease and congruent with each other. Exactly. We'll shame ourselves with it, because we don't even know how to make ourselves start doing what's on that to-do list. If you don't think you're worth it, okay, that was one of my core wounds, my limiting beliefs, is that I'm not worthy. I didn't think I was worthy from the time I was very young on, and for reasons I won't get into here. But if you don't think you're worthy of reaching your goals, or writing that book, or quitting an unfulfilling job, then you'll never start working on the to-do list that your frontal lobe and your conscious mind came up with. And then you'll shame yourself with the fact that you weren't able to follow the diet, or write the book, or meet with the publisher, or whatever it may be. You just don't realize it, but the subconscious mind, which runs 96% of the show, is just there for one reason and one reason only, and that's safety. And so your subconscious mind is doing exactly what it was developed to do, because way back when, in the days of the saber-toothed tigers, we had to make ourselves safe. And that was the most important thing that we did, was to keep ourselves safe, to keep ourselves alive. And so the whole entire 96% of your brain was developed for that. And once you were able to keep yourself safe, then you were able to procreate and keep, being alive in the world. Whereas now, we don't have to worry about a saber-toothed lion coming across us, or a saber-toothed tiger, coming around our path. Like, there's nothing rustling in the leaves now. We're just trying to live our best lives. But this whole 96% of the show keeps you so small, trying to keep you safe. And until you learn how to harness the power in this part of your brain, I'm here to tell you, and it's my personal opinion, but you will never be a shred or a fraction of what you want to be in your life. And then there's so many times, especially as women, again, I'm a woman, so it's kind of colored my entire perspective in this country. But we're taught to kind of silence ourselves, and to people please, and to fit in, and to be thin, and to be quiet, and to be almost subservient, because that's our moms and dads were probably brought up in the 40s, and it was right after the end of the Great Depression, and that's kind of what flew then. So that's kind of like who we were raised. And if that doesn't fit well with your life, it doesn't fit well with your spirit, then reach out to me, because when you know in your heart that you're not doing something exactly what you're designed to do, and God gives us this gift of life, and it's only with our life in this physical body here, and with this soul and spirit, with this circle of influence at this time and this place and this setting, that we're able to live out our dreams. If you're not living out your dreams and making the most of the life that God gave you, then you're not even living in your purpose at all. And there's no greater sadness or depression that can come upon me than when I just feel like I'm living a fraction of who I'm supposed to be, and I'm not even influencing the people that I'm supposed to influence. So let me digress and tell y'all a little bit about this book that I wrote the outline for. So probably ever since I've been 22 years old, I've been in some sort of psychotherapy, normally a counselor's office. It was very traditional. Saved up all your problems for 1 hour each week that you were able to go and talk to your psychologist. And then they barely gave you any kind of feedback. It's just like, oh, how did that make you feel? Oh, interesting. And hold on, Kathy is saying something. We were taught to be the mouse, not the fierce lionesses that we truly are within. That's exactly right. It's like in Glennon Doyle's book Untamed. There's a cheetah that's raised with a golden retriever, and the cheetah forgot who she is, and so she just starts acting like a golden retriever, and she just chases this little tiny pink bunny at the beginning of the book. And Glennon uses that analogy to kind of illustrate her point for the whole rest of the book, that all of us women have unwilded ourselves. And I'm reading her book right now. I'm no longer going into traditional psychotherapy anymore. Now I have a mentor and a coach, and the things that she is able to just because she's trained in neurolinguistic programming and subconscious rewiring too. And like I now, after I saw how much the lid was blown off of what I thought was capable in my own lifetime, when I did my subconscious clearing out and reticular activating system clean out, where I feel like it's like gunk in the filter, I became certified in those tools. And I lead small cohorts of men and women through 12-week transformational processes where they just blow the lid off of everything that's available to them in their mind and in their body and in their life. And I used to think all you had to do was write to-do lists, and I could help you break down a to-do list really small, and but that has nothing to do with it. When you're telling yourself that you're a failure and you're not worth it, then you're never going to even act on that to-do list. So I'm so thankful for the tools that helped me turn my life around, and that now I've gotten certified in, so I can help other people turn their lives around in. But anyway, so that book is it really kind of made me start thinking a different way. My coach also is making me think a different way, and I just realized that my life has become immeasurably better over these last 2 or 3 years, and not a lot of people kind of ever even have difficult conversations with their loved ones, or they never even try to really get to know each other at a more intimate level or vulnerable level. And when I realized that the tools that I have been blessed with, they've improved my life in such immeasurably wonderful ways. Those are things that I, as a 53-year-old woman, I've been given this unique position. I am a writer, I am an author, I am a speaker, to write this stuff out and share it with the younger generation. Share it with other people that might not have access to the exact same coach that I had, or read the exact same books that I've read, or have an MD and a PhD, where they're a geneticist and they're a bedside, physician, and have a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old that are musicians. I mean, these children that I have made me think about things in such a different way. The other day, my daughter and I were talking on the phone. This was Sunday night, just 2 nights ago, and she told me that she could see what I was had been reading on, listening to on Spotify, And because, you know, on the laptop, if you're friends with people, you can see what they've been listening to. And I said, yeah, I've just been going through a lot of things lately. And she said, yeah, Mom, I've been going through a lot of things lately too. And I said, what have you been going through, baby? And she explained to me that number one, she was really upset that she hadn't gotten Taylor Swift tickets. And, you know, I think 2/3 of us didn't get the tickets. Ticketmaster broke, and we couldn't, they couldn't handle the demand. And she said, but the other thing I'm really upset about is this is going to be the first Thanksgiving without you and Dad being together. And it just really makes me upset that every day when I wake up, I'm going to have to decide whose house am I going to go to. And I explained to her that I was really sorry that this had happened, and that I tried the best that I could to stay, you know, with her dad, but that we just weren't growing together. And for my own survival, I had to leave. And that I said, you know, two things I want to impress upon you, Jessica, and these are two things I want to share with you guys today. And it's part about what my book is about. Is that there's a guarantee in our lives, okay, in our human lives, that we are going to go through trials and tribulations. And if everything is just always perfect for you, and you're just always like low key, same level happiness, you're never going to learn anything that there is, that God and the universe wants to teach you while you're here on this earth. And without that, I'll call them trials and tribulations. You could also call it challenges. Without the challenges, each one of those challenges and trials and tribulation pulls us back. All right, think about it as this is your life, and the trial and tribulation pulls you back like a rubber band. Well, until that trial and tribulation pulls you back, you can't then propel yourself forward. Okay, so if you let that trial and tribulation happen in your life, and then you don't go back to your roots and learn at your roots what it is, what is the lesson I'm supposed to learn in this, what is the boundary I'm supposed to learn, and you just like let yourself be pulled back, but then you don't go propel yourself forward to continue growing and learning. All of our jobs are here to learn and grow. That's the only thing we're here on this earth for, to learn and grow, to learn and grow. There's so much happening in the news right now. I'm not even going to talk about it because it just upsets me so much. But just learn and grow, people. You know, just use everything that happens in your life to make yourself a better person and learn and grow. So if you don't do that, then you are just growing millimeters, not miles, okay? And the bigger the thing that pulls that rubber band back, which for Jessica will be me and her dad splitting up, the more it can propel you forward. You know, the bigger the negative, the bigger the positive. Melissa is my coach and mentor, and she always talks about it, holding the duality. If you're going to hold greatness in your life, you're also going to have to hold some suck in your life, okay? So things can't always be great without it also sucking a little bit, all right? So the things that are going to challenge you to grow, it's going to hurt, but then it's also going to make it wonderful. So you can't just always have the wonderful. You can't just always have the positive. So I tried to explain to Jessica, you know, and instead of you focusing on every morning, you have to figure out whose house you're going to go to that day. Can you just instead think about it like this? We are going to go to the melting pot and have fondue. We're going to go up to the North Georgia mountains, and maybe we're going to ride horses. We're going to watch Christmas movies, and we're going to make gluten-free Christmas cookies, and we're going to go get bubble tea from your favorite bubble tea place. Like, just think about all the great things that are going to happen, and let that be the stuff that's the positive stuff that brings you forward instead of just the negative things. Yeah, so you have two houses you're going to get to wake up in. That's double the fun, right? There'll be stuff that happens at Mom's house and stuff that happens at Dad's house. And it just made me realize that, again, as I said before, I think a lot of people don't have these emotionally vulnerable and intimate conversations with their kids. My kids was just blessed with, and plus I'm just a big talker and I'm a very deep person. And so I just have these conversations with my kids all the time. And so it's another reason why I wanted to write the book, is because not everybody was able to have a mom like me. And even if you do have a mom that's deep, you might not have a mom that knows the things that I know. So again, the more things that I realize as I've gotten older and older, and now me at age 53, is that we are betraying ourselves when all we do is live our lives based on what our brothers and sisters did or what our moms and dads did. Each one of us has our own unique sets of gifts and talents. And I don't want anybody to wait to learn what their gifts and talents are until I don't want anyone to have to wait until they're 53 to learn what they are, like I had to wait. Okay, I want people to learn from me and learn the tools so that they can actually have access to these gifts and talents a lot earlier, because once you know better, you do better. And when God gives you power to act, it is the power to actually do something different than what you're doing right now. And if you're just sitting here kind of like thinking about things and not being all that fulfilled in your life and kind of staying small and kind of staying shrunken down and hunkered down, you're never going to get anywhere in your life. That you will get places and you'll have your impact, but it can be so much better than even what you think it is. This requires some work. All that matters is your willingness to kind of fight for yourself and your willingness to do the work. That's all that matters in the here and now. And if you're willing to really blow the lid off your life and you're ready to make 2023 something completely different than what from age birth, to the year 2022 was, reach out to me. You can DM me here on Facebook. You can make a comment here in the comments, and let's talk about it. See if you're ready to do this 12 weeks of work. It's just 12 weeks devoted just to yourself to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Because believe me, once you know better, you're able to do better. And what I realized when I rewired my subconscious mind for greatness, and I cleaned out all that self-limiting crap, and just how all the anxiety had plagued me, and the guilt had plagued me, and the shame had plagued me, and the sadness and the anger. When I got rid of all of that and I realized I just have this clean palette, then anything that you want to do is available to you, and nobody can stop you. And life really starts getting to be really fun when you do that. So again, I've developed a 12-week program. I named my program the Soul Circle Academy, and a lot of it is one-on-one. I do a lot of one-on-one subconscious clearings with you from influences and emotions and limiting beliefs. Every people, person, place, and thing that made you who you are, we go through them one by one and get rid of anything negative that are holding you back to do with all of these people and places and things. And then we clear all of your top limiting beliefs and your top emotions that are holding you back. And then the rest of the program is just really lining up your soul and your spirit and your energy to really go through and walk that path of what it is meant for you. And I don't leave any stone unturned. I've seen it all. I've seen thousands of people get better with these tools. It is an amazing, amazing process. But again, I always say it's simple but not easy. It's simple but not easy. We have a tried and true method to make people be able to really dig down deep and get all that gunk out of their filters, but you have to be committed to yourself. So if you think you might be committed to yourself, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you and join us in the Soul Circle Academy. Like I said, today's my first day of doing my Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. And I've been doing them for a year and a half at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to see how this goes. So I'm just going to say right now, I'll see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't wait to talk to you guys. It would be nothing could make me happier or please me more than to help usher you into the best version of yourself for the remaining time that you have here on this earth. But I love you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. I know that a lot of us are having different Thanksgivings this year. Ask me how I know. And I just hope that everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and is surrounded by people and friends and places that you love and that love you. But I'll see y'all next Tuesday at 2. And goodbye and take care. Love you guys.